Beautiful. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cut the Crap. I was feeling a little spicy when I wrote this one. I am a marketer and I'm really passionate about serving small business owners. And I see so many people getting caught up in these mistakes that I had to create this webinar today to share this with you guys. So today we're going to talk about what it takes to build a marketing system that actually works. And so you can stop wasting money and get serious with your marketing as a small business owner and entrepreneur. I know how strapped for resources we all are, and I know that we really need to see results from our marketing. And there is, to be quite honest, there's a lot of predatoriness out there in the marketing world, and there's a reason a lot of us have an ick when it comes to marketing. And today I'm going to break through some of that for you guys, because as a professional marketer and a lover of small businesses and local businesses, I hate seeing the disconnect between the power marketing has for us to grow our businesses and allow us to bring the good we want to do to the world. So I want to help break through some of that today. So let me get my little slides up here. Hi, I am Cheyenne, and I am a marketing coach and consultant. I am professionally trained in marketing. And I have been doing this I've been into the marketing world for almost a decade now, and I have served over 100 small business owners and entrepreneurs to help them grow their businesses in a way that feels really genuine and authentic. And in a way that I work with people who are providing something of quality to their communities. I work with people who are not just looking for profit, they're really looking for impact and contribution as well. And the type of marketing that I have developed for my clients and my customers is the type that allows them to do this while supporting the growth of their business, because marketing should be growing your business. It's an investment, but it's something that brings results. So I'm going to drop in the chat if I can find it here. There we go. Oh, I see you guys introducing yourself. Hello. I have a marketing newsletter that goes out every week, and it's called Marketing Without the Ick, and it's full of information and advice and guidance and techniques and events like this. So if that's your thing, hop on there. And if anybody wants to contact me, I drop my email in there too. Oh, I still have people popping in. There we go. Oh, thanks, Wendy. Okay. Here's what we're going to cover today. This is going to be a really fun one. If anyone's been to any of my webinars before, I give a lot of information. I really believe in empowering everybody with knowledge, because I think that's one of the key parts of marketing is understanding how it works. So if you're a note taker, get a pencil, get your notebook. If not, the replay will go out afterwards. So we're going to start off talking about the 3 biggest marketing mistakes that I see small business owners and entrepreneurs making. Quite often when someone comes to me for either consulting, or they're taking one of my programs, or we're doing one-on-one coaching, they have wasted years doing these mistakes, and they've wasted so much money and so much energy. And sometimes I see them getting to the place where they're starting to question whether they're even cut out for business as it is, if maybe they just don't have something that people want to buy, or they're not capable of being an entrepreneur. But it's not them. It's usually that they're falling victim to one of these 3 mistakes, and we're going to get into them and why they're so common here today. And then the second thing we're going to talk about is whether you're building yourself a jobby or you're building yourself into an entrepreneur. They're very different things, and quite often we start off with one, not even understanding that the other one is an option. And in order to get really serious about our marketing, we have to really decide which one we're doing. And then we're going to get into some really fun stuff for me, which is the 3 core components of a marketing system. And these 3 things, there's so much out there about marketing in our world. There's so much noise because there's a lot of profit to be made by selling marketing to small business owners. But in the end of the day, almost every business comes down to these 3 core systems. They're pretty simple, and they can be used for any business. B2B, B2C, product-based, service-based, online, brick and mortar, it doesn't matter. This is marketing at its core. I have one of my longest businesses that I've been working with. We started off as it's a small town gym. I live in Trenton, Ontario. We're like population 50K or something like that. And it was one of those gyms that used to be really good in the 80s, and it had since gotten really run down. It had a really negative reputation. A new owner purchased it. It was at 5K a month in revenue. And we sat down, we're like, what do we do with this? And between his investment in the infrastructure of the gym and then me marketing using this system, we've grown it from 5K a month in revenue through the last 4 or 5 years, through COVID, through some big franchises moving into the area, up to 25K a month in revenue. And this is a very small gym, and it's using a very simple marketing system. This stuff works. I've used the same for myself. I used to be, I've studied classical French cuisine. I was a tradesperson working in the culinary world. I had no business background. And then I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. And then I decided to become a business owner, and using the same marketing skills, I'm able to now, I have a business that brings in 12K a month for myself. So this type of stuff works regardless of if you're B2B, B2C, service, product-based, because it's marketing principles. It is really understanding how marketing works and how you can get it to work for your business. So we're going to get to the 3 biggest mistakes, and these were really fun, because I get really angry watching small business owners and entrepreneurs. So many of us have something really, really magical to bring to the market, something that we've probably developed for ourselves because we decided we wanted to see it in our lives, or there are people that we love that were close to us that we felt their lives would be better if they had access to this. And then we go off into developing it as a business, and we just want to bring it to more people. Those are the people that I went into marketing to serve, because I started out in local food, connecting with farms who are making really great organic, all natural stuff, and they couldn't connect with the market. And the only piece they were missing was marketing. And I realized there's so much good that can be done in the world when we start using marketing to support businesses and entrepreneurs like you guys to be able to do that. This is where my passion comes from. So these 3 mistakes, seeing them happen over and over again, I'm on a mission right now to kind of bust them so you guys can shortcut the process of losing time and losing energy and money making these, and you can get to the point where marketing is really bringing in results for you. Oh, somebody's joining. There we go. So the first one is buying a business in a box. This is going around on Instagram and Facebook constantly right now. There's so many ads that we're seeing for people telling us, 3 months to 10K, that type of stuff. This is where you take someone else's system and you replicate it for yourself. The second one is shiny object syndrome, which as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we have a higher comfort with risks statistically, and we really like novelty. So this is a really common problem for us, is that we will jump from one thing to the next to the next. And then the third one is believing more will be better, that the more we're doing, the more results we're going to get, the better results we're going to get with our marketing. And that's another one that I see a lot. So to go into each of these mistakes, mistake number 1, buying a business in a box. This is when we invest in a one-size-fits-all business solution. It promises quick, proven, easy results, but there's no customization to your unique business goals, to your personality, or to your resources. When a professional marketer comes into a business, if I was brought on by a client and they said, hey, we have this offer that we'd really like to bring in more leads from. And I said, oh, wait a minute, I just saw a really cool course on Instagram. I'm going to go get that funnel and I'm going to bring it over and we'll build it in your business. They would fire me on the spot, and for good reason. Marketing is not supposed to be something that you recreate somebody else's system from. You are supposed to look at the business. You're supposed to look at what creative assets they have. Do they have someone who's able to produce videography? Do they have someone that's able to manage social media? Do they have a good writer on their team? Do they have a budget for these things? What's the goal of the business? Do we need this? Do we need this? What's the brand? You should really be customizing to your business. This is really common right now because all of those people you see on Instagram and such that are selling you these things, they're business owners and entrepreneurs themselves. So they've developed a business model, and then they created a marketing system for it, for their business model with their resources and their goals and their personality. And because they're business people, they recognize they could then package it up and turn it around and sell it to a lot of aspiring business owners and entrepreneurs as an easy way to go through that process and get proven results. So this works in certain situations. It's very difficult to find the exact business that will match yours, so their marketing system will match yours, you are probably going to have a different personality than them. If they're on social media, if you run into one of these ads on social media and then their whole system is built off social media, it's because that's how they work. They like being on social media. One of the most common things I find with small business owners and entrepreneurs who are really invested in contributing is they're not heavy social media people. So then they get these systems and they try to replicate it. And then they're like, I don't want to post on social media constantly. And because that's not a fit, they don't see results. And then they get frustrated. They're not getting their ROI that they need. They don't have a marketing system that's supporting the growth of their business. And then often they think it's them because this system worked for all these other people. Why is it not working for me? Because it should be customized. That's the reason it's not working. Mistake number 2, shiny object syndrome. And this is one, like, I'm just as guilty of all of these. I've gone through this process myself. I have seen so many of my clients and customers go through this process. This is where we're constantly switching to new marketing tactics and tools without considering, are these the right fit for me? Do they match my business goals? Do they match my business stage? Do they match where I am now? And the problem with this is that we end up always being in learning mode. We feel like we're investing, we feel like we're making progress, but we're never executing. And execution is where the ROI comes in. That's where we actually see sales start to generate, is when we're building something out and it's gotten past the learning stage. When we're always chasing the next shiny object, if we're like, oh, this new social media platform has come out, or, oh, I heard so-and-so used email marketing, I'm going to stop my social and now I'm going to move on to email. Or so-and-so said, video is really working. Okay, I'll leave the social behind and now I'll move to video. We never get to the point where we have any level of mastery of what we're doing. And then we're never sticking with something. And because of that, marketing is a long game. It's not a short-term game. It's something that we really need to be consistently showing up for. And we need to reach a point where what we're putting out has substance to it. We cannot just be hopping, because then we end up the same as everybody else who's just starting. And we never stand out more than someone else who is just starting, which is a huge portion of small business owners and entrepreneurs. Most of us don't make it past the first 5 years. And so we're putting ourselves in a really, really saturated market if we're always jumping from one shiny object to the next shiny object. And again, we see no return on investment. We see no sales coming in. We see no progress in our actual business because of that, even though we feel like we're spending a lot of time learning new things. The third one, which is it's similar to shiny object syndrome, but this is where we spread ourselves too thin. This is where we have this idea that more is better. If we're on email, if we're on blog, if we're doing video, if we're doing social media, if we're advertising, if we're attending networking events, if we're showing up on webinars, the more people see us, the more results we'll get. That's the hope. But what ends up happening is that we overload ourselves with too many different marketing activities, platforms, and campaigns. We become overtaxed and our resources just can't go that far. And then we end up being unable to manage everything effectively. Marketing, when it's done professionally, is very intentional. It's very focused, because especially in how content saturated our feeds and our email and advertising is, if we are watering ourselves down by going in 10 different directions, we're never going to stand out. We're never going to be able to provide more substance and quality, because we're just trying to go for a spray and pray. And in order to stand out as small business owners and entrepreneurs, we do not have access to huge amount of resources for advertising. We can't just bombard people and get in front of them often enough that we end up top of mind. We really need to narrow down and focus on what tactic and what strategy and what channel we're going to commit and invest in, so that we make some progress in that way and we start showing up differently from the rest of the market. It won't matter if people are seeing you in 5 different channels on email and blog and YouTube. And if you even manage to get the eyes on your content that much, it won't matter if it's not making an impact on them, because you're not able to do it in a really high quality way. And the other part of this is that we end up thinking that it's a lack of ability on our part to produce anything, or the market just isn't responding, when it's the fact that we're taking what energy we have or our team has and the skills that our team has or we have, and we're spreading them so thin that we're not able to showcase ourselves in a full light. It's not a lack of potential for market fit. It's a lack of the opportunity for the market to really see the fullness of what we have to offer. Because if you've committed to writing, you know, 4 or 5 social email or 4 or 5 social media posts a week and an email and doing a video and doing a webinar, you're just not going to be able to go into each of those to any level of depth that you can create a quality piece of content behind that. So those 3 mistakes are very, very common before people start to recognize how to get serious with their marketing. And the reason behind this is because there's a lot of money for other people to make if you guys are making these mistakes. There's a lot of courses for them to sell you. There's a lot of new things that they can bring you into if you're caught in this mindset of needing to chase the next shiny object, that's going to bring you the solution that you want. And once I tend to work with people, because I come from a perspective of marketing from a professional point of view, I'm able to really break it down for them that this is just consumerism. This is really replicating other people's stuff. And you don't need to do that. What you really want to do is you want to be able to create your own marketing system. You want to invest in yourself as an entrepreneur. So the question that I quite often have with people initially, especially my one-on-one coaching clients, is, are you building yourself a jobby or are you building yourself into an entrepreneur? Both of these are viable. I strongly suspect anybody that landed on the webinar today is much more interested in learning real marketing skills. So you don't just want a jobby. And a jobby is a job hobby. I love this word. I think it really captures where a lot of us start and kind of get stuck for a little while. And it's an activity that we're really passionate about. We really, really love. We really believe it provides a lot to the people that we want to sell it to. But we treat it more like a casual hobby than a serious business. We don't have a solid business model. We don't have a marketing system. We don't have a growth strategy. And it's not going to generate substantial income. If it goes well, it will provide us with enough to cover our overhead, and it will provide us with something of a wage for ourselves. So it's at least a job. We've created a job for ourselves. And that's viable. A lot of people, that's really all they want to do. And you do still want to have a basic understanding of business, but you might be able to get away with buying a business in a box for this. You might be able to find the right fit that gives you enough. You'll have to adjust after a couple of years because the market is always fluid. Things are always changing. You might be able to buy another one then, but you will never be able to get out of working in your business in this way. You will not be able to generate enough income to pay somebody else to take on the VA services or the bookkeeping services. If you want to move into your business in a way where you're showing up for the pieces that you feel you provide the most value for, and you have resources to allocate to have other people take on the other habits. I see Wendy in your heart. Wendy's a really incredible VA, and I know a lot of people who love working with her. And I have to have this conversation with them that's great. If that's the business you want to move into, you're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur, which means you need to invest in yourself like that. So entrepreneurs, instead, VA is a virtual assistant. They're the magical people that take on all the paperwork part on your business. They'll do all the emails and help you do all the thinking parts behind that. I love those people. So most entrepreneurs, we're really creative, right? We're really innovative. We love the big pictures. We love showing up. We love sharing. We don't want to have to sit behind a computer and type out a million emails. We don't want to have all that correspondence. We don't want to have to break down our courses and analyze all of this. And that's where people like a VA come in and they allow us to move into more of an entrepreneurial role. So entrepreneurs is when we start and run our business. We take on risks with the goal of profit and growth. We're not just trying to create a job for ourselves. And this involves a lot of innovation and strategy and commitment to turning your business into a success. Michelle, I should have dropped it up there at the top. Michelle's just asking me in the chat if I have where my email is. I'll drop it again at the bottom too at the end of this. So it's not down there. It's not up there. So when we turn from building a jobby for ourselves to building ourselves into an entrepreneur, and I had to go through this process myself. Initially, I was just happy to have some kind of income coming in. A single mom of 3, COVID had hit. I'm like, Oh, Jobby is fine. Jobby will make me happy. But then as I got into this and I was able to apply my marketing skills, I recognized turning into an entrepreneur and tackling this from that perspective would lead me to a place that I wanted to be. I didn't want to be caught by my business and locked into having, 40-hour weeks. I work now, I'm able to pick my kids up from school because I own my business in a way that I applied this next step, which is the biggest difference between building yourself a jobby and building yourself into an entrepreneur is business skills. A jobby is someone we just want to sell this, whatever hobby it is or skill set it is that we're excited about. We just want to be able to sell enough of it. That's it. We don't really care if it grows or scales enough for us to bring other people in, for us to focus on certain parts. We're happy with this. But an entrepreneur is someone who's building a business. You're getting into the game of business building, which is a really, really fun game. And it's not as complicated as it seems. I'm going to give you the 5 essential business skills. Really, when it comes down to this, if you want to be an entrepreneur, your first skill is marketing. You need to know how to relate to the market, how to create something that they want, how to draw them in, and how to create sales with that audience that you've drawn in. Second, financial management. You need to know how to maintain the financial health of your business. Third, interpersonal communication. You're working with clients, you're working with customers, you're networking, partnerships, all of it is people to people. You need to work with people. Time management, this is how we prevent burnout and overwhelm. And then strategic goal setting, really being able to be intentional and not just reactive. That's where we see those 3 big mistakes come in. It's where people are looking for an answer outside of themselves. They're trying to externally source the solution to their lack of leads. Strategic goal setting is where you go internally and you decide, what does my business look like to me? What do I want this to look like? You set your goal and then you reverse engineer it. That's strategic goal setting. And marketing is one of the most important parts of being able to set a strategic goal. If you don't know how to market, you will not be able to build your business. And I realized when I decided to go into marketing, I had accidentally given myself the most powerful business building skill without realizing it. I really thought I was going to go into marketing and I would just support other businesses. But then because I ended up working for myself, what I ended up doing was growing my own business really well while I was helping other people grow their businesses. So if you want to be an entrepreneur rather than just a jobbyist, you're going to need to put on your chief marketing officer hat. Right now, the really big brands like Starbucks are recognizing how crucial CMOs are, to the point where they've actually merged their CEO and their CMO position. They've actually combined them. They're not separate anymore. And when we put on our chief marketing officer hat, this is when we take on the role of strategically managing and directing all marketing efforts in your business so that your brand connects effectively with your customers and it drives your growth. Quite often, people that I've worked with, they've hired out, they've used contractors or service providers for their marketing, and then they've seen no result. And even if it's a really like a quality service provider, because they don't have the higher level attachment to your business. I've seen one client that I've worked with that's taken one of my intensives, and she had hired out her social media they made good posts. They were good basic posts, but there was no connection to her broader strategy. So she saw no ROI from it. So even if you are going to get to the point where you will contract out your marketing, you need to be the one that holds the vision. You need to be able to discern, is this contractor really going to be able to execute the vision I have for my business? Are they going to be able to produce the quality that I want for my business? Will they be able to do it on brand? Investing in your own understanding of marketing is one of the most important investments you can make for yourself as an entrepreneur and business owner, which I'm probably preaching to the choir right now because you guys are all on a marketing webinar. So I'm glad that you get it. Okay, getting to the juice now. I'm excited for this. Our 3 core components of a marketing system. There's a lot of noise out there in online, especially about the marketing world and all the different things you should and could be doing for marketing. At the end of the day, all of those slot into one of these 3. These 3 things are the things you should understand as a business owner about your marketing. It's your branding, your content marketing, and your conversion funnels. That's it. These three things together create an entire marketing system. That's all you need. This is what I have used to grow my gym client up to 25, 30K a month. I've used it to grow myself up to 12K a month. I've used it to grow a ton of other businesses. And the lack of complexity is how you know it's based on fundamentals. All that noise is really used, ironically, to create a lot of sales for people who are selling individual components, right? When we buy courses from other people, what we're doing is we're buying a piece of one of their systems, which is why it can be so hard to have it fit into ours, because we have a different business than they do. And they've built out a system and it works for them and it might work for some other people, but it means we're recreating somebody else's business. If you want to be a business owner, you need to be a business creator, which means you need to be able to create your marketing system as well. So our brand, I am deeply passionate about branding for small businesses and entrepreneurs because it is a crucial way to stand out. And it's quite often the piece most of us ignore, or we, hold on, I got to let people in here. Sorry. Dun, dun, dun. People are still popping in. There we go. Okay. This is the piece quite often we ignore. It is usually the piece I'm brought on to create initially because they have ignored it and it brings the highest ROI. It can feel a little intangible. We're going to break it down. So hopefully you guys understand it on a deeper level. So brand is your business identity. It's your energy. It's your vibe. It's the personality of your business. If you're a personal brand because you're a service provider or you're online, it's very easy to see how it's your personality. If you're a brick and mortar, if you're a product base, there's still a personality behind your business. And brand is layered onto everything we do. It's layered onto all of our content marketing. It's layered onto all of our conversion funnels. Every piece of your business, every decision you make should be put up against your brand. And you should ask your question, is this on brand? It allows you to stand out. When we show up with a very defined personality and energy, and we're consistent with that, that is when, instead of being lost in the noise because everybody else who offers the same thing we offer, if we're a coffee shop and we're just talking about our coffee and we're flat and we have no personality or brand behind us, there's nothing for people to notice about us. There's absolutely no substance for them to connect to. We don't stand out any more than the coffee shop down the street. When we put a brand behind that, that's when people start to take notice. And it also attracts the right people. This is when, if we have a very particular way of looking at the world, which we all do, and we build it into our brand, we reinforce our business with it. This is how we make sure we attract the type of people who are going to want to buy our products or services. This is how we make sure our content marketing is actually driving our business goals and our sales goal forward. And it creates loyalty. When our brand is really front and center in every interaction we have with our business owners, this is how they start to get to feel like they have a relationship with us. This is what keeps them coming back. And in business, new client or customer acquisition is the most expensive marketing activity you will take. Client and customer retention is the highest ROI, and branding really increases the retention. Content marketing. This is all of the valuable and relevant content that we put out there. This is the emails and the social media and the videos. It's even in-person networking. If you're doing in-person networking, which quite a lot of us do at the beginning stage, the conversations you're having is your content marketing. The presentations you're giving is your content marketing. It should all be strategically and intentionally linked back to your business goals and on brand. And your content marketing will help you attract, when it's branded especially, it'll attract people into your like your online ecosystem or into your orbit. It will collect them. It'll start to create an audience for you, and it will nurture the audience. This is where that know, like, and trust, this is where we make that happen. When we have a really good content marketing system and a smart strategy behind it, we're very intentional with it. This is where we're giving people the opportunity to develop a know, like, and trust with us. This is where you turn a cold audience into a warm audience, and then they become potential clients and customers. because we're not trying to shout at them as loud as everybody else and get their attention and force them to buy from us. This is where I get into marketing without the ick. When we show up with value with people and we establish a relationship, we don't have to push and persuade and force them to buy from us. They're already at a place where they have a desire to move forward with us. Conversion funnels are the fun bit. This is where, as a business owner, you're like, bring me the money. This is where we build intentional pathways that turn our audience that we've created with our content marketing. We've warmed them up. They know, like, and trust us. They feel our brand. It's a fit for them. And this is where we turn them into customers. This is where we get to the transaction stage. We're going to break this down a little bit more here. So our brand, very intangible. I love working with brands because it has probably the highest ROI, especially if you are both online, because the market is so saturated. We all know we're constantly inundated with social media content. We're constantly inundated with inbox email. My inbox is probably at like 50K. It's ridiculous how much content we have thrown at us every day. And we live in what is now called an attention economy. As a marketer, you're in the art of earning attention. And as a small business owner, you are also in the art of earning attention because you need to be that CMO of your business. One of the ways we make sure we are worth paying attention to so that people can eventually be led to our conversion funnels is making sure our brand is clear and crisp. And it's not about creating a brand. This is not about arbitrarily deciding, oh, what will the market like? What's really trendy with the market? And we'll do that. It's what the big guys do, which is why they feel icky. The beauty of us small business owners and entrepreneurs is that if we've been in business for any length of time, we already have a brand. There's something about the way we're doing business and the values that we bring out that people are resonating with. There is already a market that is responding to our brand. What we need to do is to extract it and define it so that we can put it into a brand strategy. So it's not about arbitrarily being like, oh, here's what my brand is going to be. It's about really looking back and going into the 3 aspects of your brand strategy, which is your brand vision. That's that really beautiful, deep, heartfelt impact that you know you can have on the lives of others. There's a bit of a impact of society. There's something really important to us, and that's our brand vision. It's a really important part. And it can be hard sometimes to see how that applies to our business as a whole when we're doing everyday mundane things. So for me, my brand vision is I really genuinely believe in the greater good that's going to happen in our world, the more people are empowered to bring their own products and services to the market. I love small businesses. I love local businesses. I love the genuine connection that happens. I know the impact it's had on my life, the lives of my children, and I want more people to be empowered with business skills to be able to do that. And in a way that feels really authentic and respectful to your audience. That's my vision. And I'm doing marketing, but it's threaded throughout every single part of what I do. And it's why the people who work with me come to me. Even though it's marketing on the surface that they need, it is that deeper vision that I have that draws the right people to me because they want to do marketing in that way too. So it's your vision, your brand voice, which is, it's the personality. It's the tone that you're using. It's your brand story that you're sharing. When we are at the beginning stages, because we're still quite often seeing ourselves more of a jobbyist, we don't understand yet that our business is not all of us. It is quite often quite a mirror of parts of ourselves, but it really should be something clearly defined. If we're having a bad day, we don't bring that energy to our business because it is not a channel for personal expression. There's portions of ourselves we bring in, but getting really clear in our business voice is how we turn into an entrepreneur and a business owner rather than someone who's just using social media and their business channel to share their personal thoughts. When you have something that comes up that maybe is a bit personal and you want to know if you should share it, you can refer back to your brand strategy to be like, is this on voice for my brand? Will my clients or customers and audience expect to hear this from me? Quite often, you'll notice if a really big brand violates the brand expectations, if they put something out there that people are like, no, 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 no. the audience really responds to it and they punish them for it because there is an expectation for businesses to have continuity in their voice and in the way that they speak and in the way that they, the personality that they're bringing out. This is very emotional too, which is a really beautiful part of brand. And then the third part of brand strategy is the brand value. This is, even though we have very distinct offers that we're offering, like I offer, let's say, social media marketing. My value in my social media marketing is not just about the fact that I'm going to give you 9 posts a month. It's about the fact that I'm going to tap into the really deep values of your brand and your business goals. And those 9 posts a month are going to feel in congruence with your goals. You're going to genuinely see how it is embodying your business and your goals. That's the real value that I bring. And each one of your products or services has that kind of value. There's something called the value ladder where we go from just like the functional benefits all the way up to that really deep vision. And that's what people resonate with much more so than if you get on social media and you're like, I'm selling 10-ounce cups of coffee. That does nothing for people. You are a commodity then, and you will not gain any traction. When you really deeply understand the actual value that you're giving, especially in comparison to other options, that's when you start to stand out and you start to bring in sales. So I'm going to be covering all of this in a 6-week intensive that I start this week, actually, if anybody is looking to go deeper into it. But you can also read this in books. There's so many opportunities to understand brand, really invest in your knowledge. Brand identity, it's the logos, it's the fonts, it's the colors, it's the brand pictures. This is where most of us start with branding. We understand we need branding and we're like, oh, I have a logo. But it's actually really secondary. Your brand strategy, what I just talked about for vision, voice, and value, it is much more important. Your logo and your colors and your fonts should support your brand strategy. It should reflect it so that there's continuity again. Like mine, I have marigold flowers and my colors are very earthy and down to, like, they're very organic because that reflects the authenticity of my brand strategy. So if you don't have a brand strategy yet, start to look into that so you really understand the components of it and how you can bring it into your business. The next is our content marketing. This is probably the dominant piece where most people, if they're in the beginning stages of getting serious with the marketing, they're like, okay, I know I need to be on social media. I know I need to be putting something out there. And what they're really talking about is your content marketing. Once we have our brand established, it's always there. It's always the energy and the personality behind everything we put out. Our content marketing is the more tangible piece. This is for networking. It's the conversations. It's the business card. It's the way we dress. It's the presentations we're giving. If we're on social media or email or doing videos or webinars, that's our content. These are the interactions and the experiences your potential audience is getting to have with you. Some of you will go through this today with me and be like, this is my vibe. I like what I got from this and I want more of that. And you might hop on my email list and then you'll be receiving more of my content. It's also your advertising. Advertising includes spending. There's a science behind media buying, but it's also the images, it's the graphics, it's the copy, it's still content marketing. So this creates an ecosystem for people to come in and bounce around and learn and get to know about you and your products and services, get to understand what you stand for, what your vision is, get to really know, like, and trust you. And people spend a lot of their time here. And then we move into the conversion funnels. And our conversion funnels are where we really create those pathways into a paid offer. Our content marketing, we should really just be focused on providing value. Our conversion funnels are where we then open up an invitation for people to go further with us. If they've received value from our content, they feel like they've gotten to know, like, and trust us. This is where we give them an opportunity to then move into a funnel. So our conversion funnels, this is the side view, and this is like we're looking top down. We plop our conversion funnels into our content marketing. We might mention it in our email if we're doing a newsletter. That's one of the methods I use. We might mention it in our social media. If we're doing a podcast, we might make a mention of a course or whatever it is we have coming up, or come visit the store. So it really layers on here right at the very top is just a really beginning piece of awareness of our paid offer into the middle of our content marketing. And conversion funnels, when we're building these, we want to address the three psychological stages that our clients or customers will go through, which is going to be awareness, just having them understand here, hey, here's we make fresh bread every Monday. If we're a baker, we let them understand that that is a possibility. It's something that's available to them. Hey, I'm launching an intensive this week. That's a possibility. It's just giving them an option to be aware of it so that those people that you have nurtured and warmed up and they feel like they can trust you, they sense you have authority in what you're doing, you're legitimate, then they get to choose without you having to push, prod, or manipulate to go further in because they feel like it's the right place for them and they feel like you are the right option for them, especially with that brand brought in and you really nurturing them through your content marketing. So that's awareness. And then once they become aware and someone moves further down your funnel, they enter into the consideration stage. And there's a lot to this. I will also do a really in-depth content marketing intensive sometime later. But consideration is where we hear a lot of conversation around pain points and objections. This is where somebody that we really truly believe could benefit from our product or service, they might not know why, or they might have some questions or resistance to it. And this is where we help to address it. A really big part of this is problem aware versus solution aware. Like in the gym example, if we have people who sometimes we get really lethargic and the last thing we want to do is go work out or take on any physical exercise. So we might be problem aware where we're like, oh my gosh, my energy levels are so low and I'm really not performing at work. But they might not necessarily be at the place yet where they're solution aware and they don't understand that actually a regular gym routine, even if you can't go full out, just showing up and moving your body a bit will help increase their energy levels. So I might create content here that talks about the connection between regular gym routines, even when we're not feeling it, and then increase in energy level. And that will help them move from problem aware to solution aware. Conversion funnels are really about helping people get to the place where if it's right for them, they have all the information they need to know it's worth investing in moving forward. It's not about manipulation. It's not about presenting something in a false light. If you've been in business any length of time, you have probably seen people that weren't sure at first, and then you had a lot of conversations with them, or you've had a lot of interactions with them, and you've addressed specific questions. You'll get reoccurring questions from people that you're like, okay, why does this question keep coming up? It's because it's something you want to build into your consideration stage of your conversion funnels. This is the process. If people knew what the answer was already, they would already be searching it out. They would already be purchasing it. Quite often, people aren't even aware. I have a local bakery that's just down the road from me, Deli and Bakery, that I absolutely love. And I was chatting with the owner last week, and we were talking about how she's had to almost educate her market because they do fresh baked goods and it's European style baked goods. So the bread starts to I want to say dry out. That's not the term, but the bread starts to get reduced in quality after a day or so. It's not like grocery store bread that you can leave on the counter and it doesn't mold for 3 weeks and you look at it and question what's in that. It really is something that you have to understand that these products are going to behave differently than conventional products. And she's actually, even as something as simple as a baker, she's had to make people solution aware that means, oh, well, if you're finding, your bread is getting really dry after a couple of days and you're not going through it, slice it up, make it into French toast, make it into croutons, make it into breadcrumbs. Like she's having to give people more information so that they understand the benefit of this product at the end, and any confusion they have around how they bring it into their lives is being addressed. And this is something as simple as bread. If you're talking something that really helps transform people, if you're helping them in personal development, or if you're offering some kind of counseling or coaching, if you're offering fitness, it's an even more complex transition for people to go through. But the beauty of a conversion funnel like this is you can create content that you don't have to have one-on-one conversations over and over again. I'll use this recording and I'll throw it up on my YouTube. And there will be people who are wondering how to use marketing and not sure how it looks when it's real. And they'll be able to watch it without me needing to go over it over and over again. Social media posts are the same way. You can use those to address commonly asked questions. All of that type of stuff becomes an asset. So as a business owner, the more you create really quality pieces of content, the more you can reuse them, because the market's going to have the same questions in the consideration phase today as they will next week and they will next year. The people who are moving into buying freshly baked bread are going to have the same questions of what do you do with it if it starts to go stale? That's the word, stale after a day or two. And the beauty of this is it becomes an investment. So rather than that shiny object syndrome or trying to do all the things, you're building it out very intentionally so that you're aligned with your main offers. You build out a conversion funnel for each offer. Start with your most profitable because that brings the most money running into your business. And then it becomes more evergreen. It's not something that you have to stay busy with constantly. Marketing should not be something that you feel like you are going to be caught doing the rest of your business life. It is an activity that is ongoing, but it's something that if you have a business model that you've been able to sell to people and they're happy with the results of it, you should be able to sit down and create assets for your most profitable offer and run those continuously. Because as long as you're able to reach new people with your content marketing and you're able to keep nurturing your audience with your content marketing, these conversion funnels can stay pretty the same. That's the beautiful part of conversion funnels. At the very, very end is that last moment of exchange where they're like, yeah, okay, I get it. I understand all that resistance I had in my mind. You've really led me. I really understand how this is going to work and how it really will add value to my life. I've gotten to know you through your content. You seem really legitimate. You have knowledge. You know what you're doing. You're trustworthy. I like you. I know you. I trust you. Your energy is the same kind of energy that I have. I believe in the values that you're talking about in your business. They are now at the point where they have made the decision for themselves that they want to buy from you. You do not need to get on a pushy sales call and use the all the urgency techniques and all the manipulative techniques that we've heard in sales. You need to be confident and sure about your business and your product and your service, but you don't need to force people to buy from you. They reach this point. This is your landing page. This is your sales conversation if it's in person. This is your checkout counter if it's brick and mortar, where we will get into more of the details. This is where we finally get into the details of your product or service. The 6-week intensive, 2 one-on-one sessions, or the bread is $7 and the loaf is so many grams. This is the part where we start to get into the details. Quite often, business owners think they have to put the details first, and that's what's going to convince people to buy. If I tell them and then even worse is we end up just trying to give as much as possible to convince people to buy from us. And we overstretch ourselves because we figure if I give more and more and more and more and more, that's what's going to get me the conversions. But it's really going from the awareness to the consideration. And then the conversion is just giving people's logical minds that last bit they need to be able to okay, yep, I understand exactly what I'm getting if I make this purchase. My logical mind is satisfied. Your emotional mind is satisfied from the top of the funnel and the content marketing. And then they're at the point where they're excited and ready to exchange their value, their money that they've earned in whatever means they're earning money, for the value they perceive in our product or service. Marketing is really about showing up with value. And the beautiful piece is that there are so many people trying to run businesses just trying to extract value. They're just trying to get sales, and people feel that. That's why marketing feels so icky. And a lot of people, when they're like, I don't want to market, I just really they come from such a genuine, heartfelt space with their business that when we reach the point where we need to market to grow, we have a lot of resistance to it. This is my piece of consideration for my conversion funnel. We have a lot of resistance to marketing because we don't want to be icky. That's not why we built a business. We built a business because there's something we genuinely believe we can give to people that improves their lives, that gives them something. So now to have to turn around and convince and contrive and manipulate people to buy it from us, that's counter to everything we've been trying to do. This type of marketing with these three pieces here, this is how you build a system that represents and communicates the real value your product or service has to give people. This is how they get to understand the value that's available to them before they ever reach a conversation with you or a conversation with the sales team or they're in your store. This is how you don't need to sell your product or service because the marketing is selling it for you. The marketing is giving people an opportunity to self-select and to learn more. And if you show up consistently providing value in these, and with branding, value is there's a leadership in being a small business owner, entrepreneur. If you're willing to stand up in a crowded marketplace and say, like for me, I stand for authentic marketing. Like there's a leadership piece in that. And then it gives people an opportunity to embody their own values by choosing to purchase from you. You give them access to an expression of themselves. There's huge value in that. But if we're not branding, we're not giving that value. We're just saying, hey, I'm another commodity, another option. Give me your money. But we're not offering anything in exchange other than the product or service, which unless we're going to compete with being the cheapest option on the market, there's no reason for them to go with us. And as small business owners and entrepreneurs, going back to those business skills, you cannot be the cheapest option on the market. You do not operate on scale. You have to have a higher price point in order to be sustainable. And every small business owner and entrepreneur I've worked with provides a really high quality product or service. Nobody goes into entrepreneurship or small business ownership to provide something that's like, it's good enough. We all really pour ourselves into this and we want to really give people something of substance because it represents ourselves. So we need to have a good price point to be able to support that, which means we need branding to do that. Our content marketing really needs to be based on attunement to the market. That's one point of it. Then there's quality. We can't be jumping around from shiny object to shiny object. We want to understand what we're able to produce. If we're good on video, if we're good writing, if we're good, if we take really beautiful pictures, if we're a good podcaster, we love talking. I love talking. We need to really commit to something that works with our natural skill set, or if we have a team, whatever skill set our team has, or what skill set we're willing to develop. We want our content marketing to have some level of quality. And when you narrow down on only one to start with, it doesn't take long to be producing at a higher level of quality than 90% of the noise out there. The other piece is attunement. So we know the audience, we know where they are, we understand their questions, we understand their challenges. Quality, we're committed to a certain type of production, a certain type of communication, and we're going to refine that and invest in it. And then the third piece is value. It always comes back to value. We need to evaluate every piece of content that we're putting out there, and we need to ask ourselves, what am I giving my audience with this? Our conversion funnel is where we ask for something. Our content marketing is where we give. Are we entertaining? Are we giving them information? Are we giving them inspiration? We want to give to people. If we're asking somebody to pay attention to us, even if for a split second on social media, we need to earn that. We cannot go in with an entitled energy expecting that people are going to give that to us. We will end up with no revenue. That's what entitlement gives us in business, is zero revenue. We need to really show up with value. And then our conversion funnels is bringing them through that process of awareness, consideration, and conversion. We cannot just go on social media and say like, hey, buy my thing, because we have not done that process with people. And there will be a lot of other businesses that have already nurtured an audience through those stages, and they've given them value, they've educated them, they've inspired them, and they're going to purchase from them, not from us. But conversion funnels are evergreen and we get to keep them going, which is what I really like about them. If you have an offer that you've developed and you're solid with it and you really believe in it, then you can get to the stage where building a conversion funnel and you can leave it and it can keep performing for you. So that's my spiel, guys. I do have my little, we'll call it a pitch at the end. If anybody's looking to go into this further, I have a 6-week intensive that I'm running on Wednesday. I'm really excited for it. We're going to go through step by step how to build your brand strategy. And I'm going to give you the knowledge to understand why and how. Because as any small business owner knows, things change constantly. We're developing, our market changes, what we're doing changes. And when you understand how your brand strategy works, it means you have that skill set to keep it updated and to keep working with where you are. So that's me. I see there's a bunch of things in the chat. We have a couple minutes. I'm going to do a quick look through. If anybody has any questions. Oh. Hi, Emily. I see you guys. VA. Oh, Wendy, you're so sweet. Thank you, Wendy, for the sweet comments in the chat. Virtual assistants are great. In that way, marketing is passive sales. Marketing is selling passively 100%. It's really standing up and embodying the value you know your business has. It's for a lot of people, especially people who are more heart-centered. We don't like pushing ourselves on people. If we really genuinely believe in what we have to offer and we've seen other people receive a lot of value from it, we want to be able to keep creating. We want to be able to keep impacting. We don't want to have to go out and aggressively sell to people. That's what I love about marketing and why I want to. It is perfect for introverts, 100%. It's a very natural way. And I talk a lot about the past way of how we used to market as small communities before we hit really large scale marketing in the 1950s, which is just, it was an adjustment from propaganda from the wars. Prior to that, prior to large corporations getting a hold of marketing, you were selling to people you knew in your community. You were not aggressively going out and knocking on people's doors and be like, hey, come down to my bakery and buy my rye loaf. That's not how it worked. Your community knew about you because you were producing a product or service other people were recommending. You had a conversation with them. They saw your storefront. They knew you as the baker. It was passive selling, and that created your livelihood. And where I get passionate about this is every small business owner and entrepreneur I have worked with has something really incredible to offer people. And I hate the idea that people aren't getting to have access to that because marketing is not building that bridge. When I started with local farms and I started seeing how incredible the produce they create is, like, oh, fresh food is everything. Like if you're an eater, go for farm-based food. Nothing tastes better than fresh food. And everybody wanted it, but marketing was not bridging the two. Marketing is what allows us as service providers and product providers to reach people and improve their lives and improve their communities. So my ask of you guys is invest in yourselves as business owners, become entrepreneurs, look for the books, Simon Sinek. Any of the really popular business books are going to touch on this. Go into Udemy, go into Coursera, really understand how marketing works so that you can leverage it against all the noise of all the big box stores and we can push society in this direction. Perfect. Okay. Any more questions? We got 2 minutes left. I really appreciate you guys joining me here today. I'm going to plop my information down again. Join my newsletter if you like my vibe and you like learning about marketing. I love marketing. And send me an email if you have any questions, if you want to hear more about the intensive, anything. I love chatting with people. Feedback. Give me feedback. I love my feedback. Thanks, Erin. I see some familiar faces. I love Erin. Thank you. Yes, I will add the time zone. I appreciate that. I'm still refining my approach to webinars. I just kicked them off a couple of months ago. So I appreciate that little feedback. This is where I need a VA. The technical pieces, right? Beautiful, guys. I hope to see you again. I hope jump on my mailing list. I'll keep updating any future events I have. Thank you for joining me here on your Monday morning. Grow your businesses. We'll take over the world. Bye, everybody.